Welcome back to my channel. Today's discussion will be about Series 13. This marks Living Dead Doll's return to a themed series, something they haven't done since Series 7, which was the 7 Deadly Sins. So without further ado, let's get into Series 13. Series 13 was released in the spring of 2007. So I'm going to start with a doll that have a least amount to say in terms of background information to the MVD doll last in the discussion. So first doll is Evangeline. Now Evangeline, I don't have the least to say in terms of the doll itself, but in terms of a background, her death date was the same release date of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. She is the broken mirror superstition, which you get 7 years of bad luck if you break a mirror. She comes with Vanity's mirror, which is repurposed for her. It's exactly the same except for the inside. If you remember Vanity from Series 7, it had like a picture showing different pictures to make up one woman's face in that image. Here it's a more shiny reflective surface, and it actually does reflect very well. It goes right into her hand very nicely. Now the standout thing about Evangeline is her face. Her face is amazing. They made a new mold for this doll. And what strikes me is the placement of the shards on her face. And they even took the time to make like the silver part. So in case you don't know, when you break a mirror, there's usually like behind the glass part, like this silver paint in the back. So the fact that they incorporated into the doll's face, it's amazing. And the airbrushing or screening on her eyes, just amazing. Like, she is such a cool doll. And her outfit is adorable too. She comes with this capelet, which is a snapped piece. And she has this dress that's all one piece with the Velcro. Mary Jane shoes and socks. Nice detail to have again. And she has this cute little bow in her hair. Again, another nice detail, which it's very rare that they included these hair accessories anymore. But the only thing I have a quibble with, and it's a very, very minor quibble with Evangeline, is her hair. It's not the best. Very thinly rooted. But honestly, look at this face. It's amazing, and I can forgive thinning hair on this doll. Like, the mold is on the face is just amazing. She didn't cost me much. I paid $35. Actually, she is the only doll that I paid the most for, and the reason why it was $35 is because of taxes. I think I got free shipping for her. And so on the secondary market, she goes for about $50 to $60. Not terrible. And I actually was surprised she goes for a little bit more than what I paid for, because, you know, sometimes these dolls tend to get overlooked within certain series. And I'm so glad with Evangeline that there obviously seems to be appreciation for her. She's just a stunning doll. And that is Evangeline. Next up is Simone. Now Simone has the superstition of the black cat, which is an unfortunate superstition. Black cats, I feel, have really gained in popularity because they are featured in so many movies and TV shows that I feel like an unlucky black cat or black cats being evil, I feel like that is going away. And I have a Black Panther princess myself. She has appeared on my videos, and her name is Deja. And Simone comes with her own black cat. Now, it's made differently than the pets featured in Series 6 in that the cat actually moves its head. Now the cat is also a lot smaller in scale to those pets, and it actually looks more realistic than those pets. Like, compared to Jinx's cat from Series 6, you know, it's very close to an accurate looking portrait of a cat, except for with the exaggerated evil features. This cat also has very sharp claws in the front, and that's because you're supposed to be able to have the cat like cling onto her dress. If you get in the right position, the material of the dress is very very thin over it. It's not a separate layer, but it just has this ability for the cat's claws to be snarled a little bit into it. Now, the only downside is that if you look closely, it does leave the dress a little tattered in the place of where the cat is put. So I wouldn't do it too much. Just settle on a spot and just leave it there. That's what I do. My cat is usually posed like this, and it's sitting on the stand. So that's how I have my cat. She is marked with the cat scratches, unfortunately. It's on her face, and it's on her hand. And she's looking down at the cat. Simone's name is actually from a French actress named Simone Simon, who starred in a B movie called The Cat People, which was released in 1942. It was known to pioneer the jump scare in film. Well, that was interesting. And Simone didn't pay a lot for her. I paid $25. However, and I think it's because of the black cat theme, she goes from anywhere from $70 to $100. In terms of, you know, her outfit, it's a simple outfit. I think it's supposed to be a nightgown. That's why she is barefoot. It has like this little lace detail on the top and on the bottom of it. Her hair is also not the best. It is thinly rooted, like practical bald spot. But again, I can overlook it because overall I think she's a well-made doll in terms of the theme, which is the black cat. And again, she comes with the accessory of this black cat, which is very weighty. It's not flimsy at all. And that's all I have to say about Simone. Next up is Jacob. Now, Jacob I did discuss about briefly in my boy ranking doll for all the series dolls. And I didn't have, I mean, I wasn't mean to the doll. I just thought, like, in terms of the hoodie and the pants, I feel like it's not a dynamic outfit that I've seen other male dolls in Living Dead Dolls run. You know, it's nothing special, basically. But he does have the theme of walking by a ladder. And you can't really show that, you know, in terms of like within the doll himself. So you give him the prop of the ladder, which is taller than him. And it doesn't have anything for it to easily stand. I mean, you could, if you balance it just right, it does stand on its own, but you have to balance it just right. So on my shelf, the ladder is like kind of behind him, so it's like leaning on the wall. And like I said, he comes with this little hoodie that has real working drawstrings. He has the Series 13 marked on it. And if you turn him to the side, it looks like the sulfur symbol. Now, the interesting thing with that is that when Living Dead Dolls celebrates their 13th anniversary, a lot of the dolls will have a tattoo on the back of their necks with this sulfur symbol on its side to show 13. So I thought it was really neat that they kind of introduced that concept. And he has a real pocket in the front of his hoodie. And he has, faux denim pants. He has sneakers with socks, which I appreciate. His hair is flocked. Be careful. It does tend to pick up like lint. And his name is, and also the ladder feature, is based on a psychological movie called Jacob's Ladder, which starred Tim Robbins, whose birthday is his death date. I never seen that movie, but I heard nothing but good things about Jacob's Ladder. It's one of those movies that, didn't make much money, but in terms of people talking about it, it's, I guess it's definitely worth the watch, and hopefully I get to watch it one day. I didn't pay too much for Jacob. Actually, funny story, I got him from the Chiller Theater convention, and there was this guy that was selling Living Dead dolls loose in like storage bags. I'm talking about like those Ziploc bags. And they were loose, but they came with their chipboard, their death certificate, and their accessory. And I kid you not, I think I had only $13 left, because I did have some cash in the convention. And I said, "Oh, how much?" And he said 15. I was like, "Oh, I'm short. I only got 13. He's like, "I'll take it." So I paid $13 for Jacob, which I thought was really funny. And he doesn't go a lot on the secondary market. He goes for about $30 to $40. So very easy to afford on the secondary market. And, he's a really cool doll to have. And again, in terms of the series, he is on brand with the theme. And that's all I have to say about Jacob. So next up is Iris. And Iris, very much like Evangeline, is a standout doll in this series because of her beautiful face. Iris, unfortunately, is the only doll that doesn't come with a prominent accessory. But she did have this cool coin that was made for Series 13's release. So if you can see here, it says "Heads You Sin." It says Living Dead Dolls. And the back, it says "Tails You Lose," Series 13. And if you turn it on its side, it's the sulfur symbol. Okay, really cool. I tried to get information about this coin, because this is not the first coin Living Dead Dolls have. They have a Sweet 16 coin that has Posey on it. They have a 13th anniversary Sin coin, which I really, really want. And I think they have a Sadie one that's also that commemorates the 13th anniversary. So this coin in particular, according to Damon Inglonic, who actually answered a question that I posted on the page, he doesn't remember like how much they cost. He doesn't remember in terms of like how people got them. He remembers that it was a promotional item that may have been given away at some event and then sold later on Mezco's website. So I'm not sure. That's the best I can get. What I can tell you is that there is a gold version of this coin on the secondary market, and someone wants it for like $50 to $60. But this coin is good enough for me. And you can find this coin. There's actually a couple listings, and the person I bought it from included this nice little case to hold it securely. And he or she, I can't remember, is selling them currently on eBay for like $6.95. The only thing that was annoying was that he had like $10 in terms of shipping. He or she had another thing that I bought from their listings, so he canceled the shipping and combined it, so I only paid shipping for one of the items. So, you know, that worked out. So with Iris, she is interesting in that of the five dolls, she doesn't really have a superstition per se. She's based on this movie called, now initially it was a movie that was released in Italy called The Girl Who Knew Too Much, but in America it was renamed The Evil Eye. So she has the evil eye. Kind of, you know, I kind of am a little disappointed in terms of the theme with her, and I guess it makes sense because she really wouldn't have a prop that would fit that theme. But, you know, again, the mold with the evil eye is pretty cool. And again, like, the airbrushing on her face is beautiful. It's like, reminds me of Hollow from Series 8. Just really, really pretty. She's styled, I think she's styled in a 60s outfit. So she has this white sweater dress with this pleather coat that has a belt that actually works. She has these sort of fishnet stockings, not quite. And she has these white socks with the Mary Jane shoes, which is really cute. And again, like Simone and Evangeline, her hair is on the thin side, but I can easily forgive it with that beautiful face. I mean, look at that face. Beautiful, beautiful face. Iris is another one that I didn't pay too much for. I paid $25 for her. And she doesn't go for much either on the secondary market. She goes for about $25 to $45. And that's all I have to say for Iris. Now, last but certainly not least, is the MVD of the series, is Morgana. Now, if you can't tell, she really leans into that gothic aesthetic with the Victorian dressing, which is no surprise why she is highly sought after and favored in the series. Even by me, when I got Morgana, it was in person. She was the only doll I had of the series at the time. So I paid retail for it, $26. And I have to admit, I did fall in love with her. I thought she was so cute. She actually reminded me of Amy Lee, the lead singer of Evanescence. So I used to call her Amy Lee all the time. That's not her name, but it's Amy Lee. Morgana does the superstition of opening an umbrella indoors. That's why she has an umbrella. Her umbrella is very similar to Resurrection Lottie's umbrella. The only thing that's different is the material used on top, which I think is a really nice little umbrella. It actually retracts. She comes with a cupped hand that's supposed to hold the umbrella. However, the gloves that they have on her, which is a separate piece, and it also stains, just to let you know, kind of makes it hard for her to hold the umbrella. It's not as secure. So what I do is I use a rubber clear band when she's on my shelf to hold the umbrella, but I took it apart so I can show you the umbrella up close. She comes with pigtails, which I don't think was a Victorian style, but, you know, I have seen a lot of goth girls in conventions and what pretty much dress like Morgana. She has this black choker it's a pleather material, the Velcro. I have had to replace her rubber bands, so just so you know, they do disintegrate, those clear rubber bands. Sadly, she doesn't come with any bows. That's exactly how her hair looks. And her face, I have to admit, over the years, and this happens a lot to me with certain dolls that I have collected from their series and only that doll, I realize more often than not, they are on the bit of the overrated side. And I feel like with Morgana, I feel like she's overrated because her face looks very familiar to other dolls that Living Dead dolls have put out. She reminds me of tragedy. For example, she reminds me of Beauty from the Beauty and the Beast Scary Tales set, the first version. And I just think her face is kind of basic when you compare it to the other 3 female dolls in the series. You know, she just, her face is not as unique as these dolls. Her dress is of the cheap satin material. And like I said, she is a lovely doll. I love her. She's really cool. But, you know, I can admit she is on the overrated side in terms of her face. Her year of death is 1830. She has no month or date for the day she died, but 1830, in my research, it was the year that a gentleman by the name of James Smith opened an umbrella-only store in London. So it's called James Smith and Sons, which still operates today. Now, Morgana goes for the most in this series. I paid, like I said, retail, but she can go anywhere from $100 to $120. So just to let you know, I mean, I'm sure you can shop around. Prices fluctuate, but she, even when I first got her, and over the years, she still continues to be the standout of the series in terms of people wanting her. So, and that is Morgana. So, the special thing about Series 13, besides returning to a theme, Series 13 is also their first gimmick series that encourages you to collect them all. So not just buy 1 or 2 dolls. And the way they did it, I'm not sure how successful they were, was this charm. So each doll, including Iris, comes with a piece of this charm that you assemble together. Here's a picture of which part each doll comes with. The only one I remembered was Iris. And I only remember that she came with this part because it looks like eyes. And she's called Iris. And that's it. It's a metal charm. And you like screw the top part, which is a separate piece from the other part of the charm. And then you put these, the later pieces on to stack. And so it rests just like that. Now, if you turn it to the side, I don't think it captures the 13 as well as it did on Jacob's hoodie, or the tattoos that later they will put on the back of the doll's necks, or even the coin. But it's a really cool piece to put next to your complete Series 13. And I think in this case of Series 13, I think it's worth owning all of them. And I think Series 13 is very similar to Series 10. If you're getting into Living Dead dolls, it's a great starter series because they're not expensive on the secondary market. And again, I think you could get a deal with Morgana if you shop around. But the only caveat is that to have a complete doll from this series, it does have to come with the charm. So if you're looking for these dolls individually loose, you know, make sure you ask about, you know, besides the death certificate and of course their main accessory, which Iris does not have one. You know, they need to have the main accessory and of course the charm piece. And moving forward, I want to introduce a rating system for the series. I feel series 1 through 12, I felt like it was the guys and Mezco's, you know, getting out the kinks of Living Dead dolls in terms of sort of experimenting with different things. You know, they experimented with different molds, with some of the faces. They experimented with having a theme, not having a theme, variants and mystery dolls. So they really tried a lot of things from series 1 to 12. And there were certain misfires here and there. So I feel moving forward, they have hit their stride. So from here on in, and I'm only doing it for the series, not like the Resurrections, I am going to rate what I feel of the series. So I feel series 13 will be my first series that I'll give 5 out of 5 sulfur symbols. Since Living Dead Dolls is associated with that symbol, that's going to be my rating symbol. So it's going to be 5 out of 5 for them. Despite Iris not quite living up to the superstition theme, she makes up for it with just a beautiful face, like gorgeous face. Same thing with Evangeline. I mean, Evangeline is the best one with the superstition, in my opinion, in capturing that theme. But again, that face mold is unlike anything Living Dead Dolls has done. And I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more series videos. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe so you can be part of the discussion of Living Dead Dolls. And do you agree with my rating? Do you think Series 13 is a perfect 5 out of 5? Please let me know in the comments. And remember, do your research. And as always, happy hunting.